guys, it's the Flippin Hippo. Thank you for joining us on our YouTube channel at Flippin Hippos. Happy Friday. It's April 19th. We are halfway through the month of April, guys. It is Friday, so I thought we'd do something fun today. I have a challenge for you guys pertaining to time management. I challenge you guys for the next week to keep track of all the time you're spending and see where you're wasting time and where you could have better spent it. I think that managing our time and wasting time are two huge things a lot of resellers and self-employed people in general struggle with. We work from home, we have distractions, we have a lot going on in our homes that makes it sometimes hard to focus on our work. Internally, a lot of us have a problem with spending too much time on social media. Maybe we're watching too much Netflix. Maybe we're being distracted by any number of things. So I'm going to issue this challenge to you guys. I want you to do it for one whole week. 7 days. They do not have to be consecutive because tomorrow starts the weekend, and I know a lot of you are so busy on the weekend, spending time with your kids, with your families, yard sales, estate sales, sourcing, catching up on taking tons of photos for listing next week, organizing, cleaning, all those things that we never get to during the week. I know that a lot of us put those projects off for the weekend. So my challenge is to do this for 7 whole days, but they don't have to be consecutive. If you want to wait till Monday to start, that's fine. If you want to do it next week, Monday through Friday, and then add Monday, Tuesday of the following week to get your full 7 days, that's fine. If you want to start today and run it through next Friday, however you want to do it, I just want to see a total of 7 days from everybody. And here's what I want you to do. You got to commit to this challenge, and you have to follow through in order for it to work. So, do you have a bullet journal yet? If you don't, where have you been the last year when I kept saying get a bullet journal? If you don't have a bullet journal, find a notebook. If you don't have a notebook, find some extra scrap pieces of paper around your house and staple or paper clip 7 of them together so you have one for each of the 7 days of the challenge. Each night before you go to bed or first thing in the morning, however you function as a person. Some of us do better at the end of the day, just before bed, planning out our next day. And some of us like to wake up in the morning, and as we're having coffee, we'll plan our day out. Whichever way works for you. But I need you to sit down either every night or every morning and write down the day and the date and everything you want to accomplish that day. Not everything you need to accomplish, everything you want to accomplish. So this encompasses needs and wants. You need to write down everything you need to do for your business that day, everything you need to do for your family and for yourself and for your pets, and then you need to write down your wants. If it's a Friday and you want to be done with work by 10 o'clock so you can pop a bowl of popcorn and watch a movie, if it's a Sunday and you want to spend 2 hours watching, I don't know what sport's going on, but you want to watch some sport on the TV, you need to write everything down that you want to get done that day. And if you want to be really specific, you can write down from the time you get up to the time you go to bed and actually write in breakfast, shower, at the end of the night, wash makeup off, whatever you do, just write down all the things you want to do that day. And then on the back of the piece of paper, you want to write down what you actually do that day and how long you spend on each task. So this challenge does force you throughout the day to continue to write down in this notebook or on this piece of paper each time you switch a task, each time you start something new, each time you spend time on anything. You've got to stop and write it down. And you have to be honest. Do not lie to yourself. Do not lie to me. Be honest. If you spent an hour and a half perusing Facebook, you need to write on your piece of paper that you spent 90 minutes on Facebook. If you spend 2 hours on a video game, be honest. Say you spent 2 hours on a video game. If you listed for an hour, but you were also watching YouTube or Netflix at the same time, and you feel like you could have listed more without the distraction, write that down too. If you normally list 10 things in an hour and you found out you listed 5, write down, I spent an hour listing, I only did 5. half of what I normally do because I was watching Hulu or Netflix. But you have to be honest. You have to write down every single thing you do and how much time you spend on each thing, regardless of how frivolous it seems or how much of a waste of time it seems, because that is the exact point of this challenge. At the end of the 7 days, you will be able to see two things. You will be able to see where you waste time and where you estimate your time wrong. And additionally, I guess as a bonus, you get to see why you don't accomplish all the things that you should be accomplishing each week, which overall will help you to feel less defeated when you're not reaching your goals. You might find out that your goals are a little too lofty. You might find out that you don't estimate enough time for things that you need to do, and that's why you keep coming up short. For example, let's say you think you're going to list 20 items a day. For most of us, that encompasses 4 hours of time. For measurements, photos, and listing total, 20 items can take 3 to 4 hours. If you only actually have an hour or two to spend on your listing each day, at the end of each week, when you're looking back, thinking, I didn't list 20 items any of these days, you feel defeated. You feel discouraged. You feel like you're never meeting your goals. So the point of this challenge is also to show you where you are estimating wrong. And I am so guilty of this one. So when I make my to-do list each day, I always forget to add in time for setup and breakdown. So if I say I'm going to spend an hour on photos and an hour listing, I forget the time it takes to get the items together, to set up the lights, the setting up before photos or measurements and the breaking down of that, depending on how your eBay room is set up or how your setup is set up. You might be spending 5 or 10 minutes on, the beginning or the end of a task that you're not scheduling in, and then you wonder why you're not getting stuff done. And it's not necessarily always because you're wasting time. Sometimes you're estimating your time wrong. So, keeping track of this for 7 days, you will absolutely at the end of 7 days be able to look at each day and see exactly where you waste time, what things you do each day that you maybe shouldn't do or do less of, and you'll also be able to see how much time you actually spend on things and how much you're actually getting done in that time, and you can reassess your goals and start to achieve your goals every week and start to accomplish them so you're not feeling so defeated when things aren't getting done. If you can admit where you're wasting time and stop wasting it, and you can see where you're estimating it wrong and start estimating it right, you can get a lot more done. This doesn't just pertain to reselling. If you find that you're not getting around to exercising every day or your housework every day or the errands that you want to run, this will help you see that too. And there will be things that you're going to see that you avoid. If you continually write something on your list to do each day, or at the beginning of each week you tell yourself, this is a goal this week, and you never do it, you're probably avoiding that. So you need to reassess whatever that is. Let's just use exercise as a good example. Let's say you say every week you want to go to the gym for a half an hour and you never go. After this exercise, 7 days of this challenge, you're going to see, I avoid the gym. Every single day I say I'm going to go. Find out why. Do you really not have the time for it? Do you really just not want to go? Why aren't you going? And what can you do about that? Can you find a way to make yourself go each day? Can you give yourself some kind of reward for going? Maybe bribe yourself with some kind of treat at the end of the week? Or maybe you just don't like going to the gym and you just think in your head, I should probably go to the gym. If you don't like going to the gym and you're paying a membership, first of all, that's a waste of money. But if you're just going to keep putting something on your list and not doing it, get rid of it. If you can't find a way to fix the things that you're avoiding, don't do them. Find something else to do. If you really want to get in shape and exercise, but you hate going to the gym, do you have a dog? Do you have kids? Do you have a spouse? Do you have somebody or some animal that would like to go for walks with you? Go walk for half an hour every day. Get an exercise video to do in the privacy of your own home. There are so many places that offer them free to stream now. You can turn on music and dance for 45 minutes a day if you like dancing. You can dance while you clean your house. That's just one example. But I do know that a lot of us are guilty of planning to do things or putting things on our list that we never ever get around to. And instead of asking ourselves, why are we avoiding it? We just feel like, I never accomplished that. And you start to feel like you don't accomplish things. But sometimes you just need to say, you know what? I'm never going to do this thing. I don't like it. I'm avoiding it for a reason. If you can fix the reason you're avoiding it and start doing it, that's great. But if you need to do something else instead, that's okay too. If you find that you have 1,000 women's tops in your death pile, and every week you say, I'm going to photograph 40 of these women's tops and get them listed. And every week you never touch them. And you're over here doing jeans and plush and hard goods and mugs. Maybe you really don't like doing women's tops. Maybe you're avoiding them because you don't like them and you enjoy listing and photographing all of these other things. And maybe it's time to either think about having a yard sale, donating them, or lotting them up and selling them in bunches of 20 or 40 or whatever. But this challenge will absolutely enable every single one of you to see where you're wasting time, where you're estimating wrong, why you're not getting your goals done every week, and which of those goals you're absolutely avoiding and probably need to rethink. And once you assess that at the end of the challenge, you can figure out how to spend less time on the things you're wasting time on, how to be more productive with the things that you need to do, and actually allow yourself the time you actually need for things instead of a bad estimate, and get rid of the things that you're just going to keep avoiding and replace them with things that make you happy and things that make you productive and things that make you money. So, what are you waiting for? I want everyone to go out, get a notebook or 7 pieces of paper. Start today, start Monday, 7 days. They don't have to be consecutive, but you need to have about a week's worth, 7 days, to get a really good view of different days of the week and different times in your life of like an aerial view, I guess, to see what I'm talking about. You can't just do one day. You can't just do Mondays. You got to have like a bunch of days in a row and then different days also, because every day is different. And maybe there's one day of the week where you're just tired more than other days. You may find that out too. So get your pieces of paper, get your notebooks, write down every night or every morning what you want to do that day, and then throughout the day what you've actually done and how much time you spent on it. And then we will check back in. I'll probably follow this up in about a week and a half or 2 weeks to allow everyone to do their full 7 days in case they didn't do them consecutively. But we'll check back in probably on a live show and have everybody bring their stuff so that we can talk about it and see what people are wasting their time on or where they estimated wrong and what we're all going to do to be better, more productive business people and human beings. So get to it. I challenge you. This is a challenge, and we will be doing a live show in a couple of weeks where everybody can check in and talk about it. And I think right after the live show where we all check in and talk about it, I'm going to start the spreadsheets and stuff in the Facebook group for accountability so that we're all accountable for our time. This is the build up to it. You can't just jump in and say, I'm going to be accountable to do all of these things. First, you need to see where you're spending your time and how you can spend it more wisely. And then we'll start the spreadsheets and the accountability. So if you're not in the Facebook group, link is in the description box. Go join. We do a lot of great stuff in there. This accountability thing is going to be one of the time management pieces of your life that I'm going to help you guys with. Alright guys, let me know what you think down in the comments. Like this video before you leave. If you haven't already and you'd like to, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and help us feed a hungry hippo. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We're at Flippin Hippos across all social media. Until next time, you guys have a good night. Go make your lists. This is a challenge.